greetings to every single one of you guys, especially to our lecturer Dr. Asma. So, today me and my group will be discussing about supporting interaction and collaboration in the language classroom through computer-mediated communication. So, let's get started. So, as we know, language is a medium of instruction or subject that is learned in all levels of education, and it plays a vital role in developing intellectual and cultural life in one individual. Learning language should be fun and should be done naturally. It depends on how our brain learns, and we learn our first language quite well without explicit instructions. But on the other hand, we have SLA, which is what this course is, which stands for Second Language Acquisitions. So what it is actually? Second Language Acquisitions, or SLA, is a study of how individuals learn their second language additional to their first language. It is also a process of learning other languages other than the first language. It could be the second, the third, or the fourth addition to the first language. Therefore, any part from the first language is called a second language, or in other words, is a target language. Next, we have CMC, which stands for Computer Mediated Communication. It refers to human communication that occurs between two or more electronic devices. CMC also been applied to other text-based interactions such as text messaging. And research on CMC is largely focuses on social effect of different computer-supported communication technology. So what is being discussed in the article is regarding about the design and implementation of a technology-supported learning environment that enables interaction and collaboration between language learners. So let's start the presentation with MaYan.
Hello everyone, my name is MaYan. Today I am going to talk about the second language acquisition theory used by the student in this experiment. The first theory used in this experiment is the interaction hypothesis, which means negotiation that trigger interaction adjustment by the native speaker or more competent interlocutor facilitates acquisition because it connects input internal learner capacities, particularly selective attention, and output in productive ways. In this experiment, although the interaction between native facilitators and student occurs when using the CMC tools, it is difficult to use this communication tool for in-depth thinking and communication after they complete the initial assignment of group tasks. The second theory uses Collation's input hypothesis. Input is essential for learning because one needs to be exposed to target language in order to activate one's innate knowledge towards it. The majority students discard language information which makes people unable to grasp the point or difficult. Of course, even if it is difficult to understand language information, other students in the group will analyze and answer in time. They could influence each other to correct their errors compared to the learning on their own not knowing where they have made a mistake. Among them, the use of asynchronous communication tools creates a better language communication input environment, which can help students improve the language ability of the language. The third theory used is Vygotsky's social culture theory. Vygotsky proposed two related mechanisms to account for the emergency of psychology process from social activity, which are imitation and zone of proximal development, or we can call it ZPD. ZPD is the differences between what the individual can do independently and what they can do with appropriate mediation from someone else. In the experiment, the discussion group, such as a small human society and human interaction, initially manifested as an external form and later internalized into an internal psychology form, while the students are discussing within the group. Their psychology function are influenced and restricted by each other. However, when students who speak Italian as a second language communicate with students whose native language is Italian, they tend to overgeneralize the grammar and talk more formula rather than having a relaxed and fluent conversation. The depression forms a language barrier due to growing up in a different social and cultural backgrounds. Therefore, this theory may be useful, but there is still flaws that need to be polished in this research. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nurul Syuhaidah, but you can call me Shushu. I'm a second semester student, first year student. So today I'll be explaining the significant findings in our group. So our group topic is the implementation of technology in the learning environment. So this article depicts that there are two tasks given to the students. The first task, the students are required to plan and organize a trip to Australia for a group of visiting Italian students and develop a comprehensive tour guides. For the second task, the students are required to plan a trip to Italy for the 4 classes. 16 students of Italian at Universiti, Australia University, and 7 Italian native speaker facilitators were involved in this research. So the students were divided into several groups that consist of 3 to 4 students, and each group were assigned one facilitators that are native speakers. For the computing tools that used in this research were the class discussion forum, the group discussion forum, synchronous chat, and email. So let's go to the first tools. Okay, there will be no editing first here. Okay, so for the first tool is the class discussion forum. This is a platform that was used by the students to interact among each other. However, upon the research, we found the researcher found that there were almost little to no discussion about the task given to them, as some students mentioned that they didn't feel the need to use the tools because they can meet with each other face to face, and the facilitators at the same time during their classes. The problem of developing their social interaction lays where the students only ask specific information for their facilitators, and this make the conversation cannot move on. Okay, move forward. The second tool is the not class but group discussion forum. These two show a much bigger impact of the technology in the learning environment, because the students it show that the students really converse with each other freely, because they felt less anxious, because the number of students in a group is smaller compared to the number of students in the class discussion room. This will make them feel more confident in using the languages. So yeah, why not? Okay, so let's go to the third tool, which is the synchronous chat. This tool allows the participant to interact simultaneously. However, upon the implementation of this tool, we found that some students did not use the tool to chat or interact because of the time zone difference between Australia and Italy. And majority of the facilitators resided in Italy, and it makes the online meeting hard to synchronize. And most of the students preferred face-to-face meeting, as they can easily discuss the details of the task that they need to complete. So let's fast forward to fourth tool, which is the email. Email were used and preferred by the student, but only for the prominent tasks, which is like organizing the meetings and posting documents regarding the task that given to them. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you.
Warm greetings I bid to Dr. Hasman, my beloved lecturer, and all my fellow friends. My name is Chong Wen Jia, and today I'll be presenting about the implication of this study, the relevance of it to our own experience, and the application that we can use in terms of our future English teacher career. Now we're going to talk about the implication of this study. Computer-mediated communication has provided a platform for native speakers and non-native speakers to communicate and socialize in the target language. They use forums, chats, emails as a way of communication, and the students have received feedback from the native speakers. So in this process, it boosts the students' confidence in using the target language, as they won't be that shy because it's through these CMC tools. So it can be said that it lessens the anxiety of learning and even applying this language in daily life. They may be more confident in using it rather than just hiding their skills. However, this research consists of flaws, because if it's towards the interactionist approach, then there's only input and none output. the communication are all in written form. So we cannot guarantee that the students is confident enough to use it in daily conversation. And the communication that exists between the learners and the other facilitators all lacks the ordeal of speaking. So we cannot say that it's 100% using the interactionist approach. If we see Krashen's output hypothesis, we need both input and output. The input is there, but the output of having a conversation, as related to Swain's output hypothesis, does not exist in this research. Other than that, the time given is not enough to acquire a new language. It's only 6 weeks and they can cover the basics but not entirely enough to acquire a new language. Furthermore, the participants are selectively among university students. We may not know that what would happen if this research is done among the public. However, I cannot deny that these computer-mediated communication tools, CMC tools, are relevant in our teaching and learning process. In this research, it may seem that it's a secondary aid, since face-to-face meeting is still provided and undergone by the students. However, if we relate to our situation now, where all levels of schools are closed due to the pandemic COVID-19, these CMC tools became very important. Even among university students, we are having class through social medias. And these social medias, Telegram, WhatsApp, are all considered as CMC tools. The lecturers, if they want to, they can choose to have online meetings through Google Meet or Zoom, as they literally can meet their students through live chat. So now I'm going to talk about the application of this research to our future English career. Now I'm going to talk about the application of this research. We as future English teachers can use these CMC tools in our lesson as an alternative for face-to-face interaction. Sometimes we would need to go for meetings or functions that makes us unable to have face-to-face classes. So in this context, we can build a Google Classroom, send our materials in it, so that the students can still learn even though we may be busy and unable to go into the class. However, it does not mean that we do not need to go into the class. We may provide the materials in it for like assignments, works, or even videos of our lesson for them to look at it and learn from it. One more thing is that we can make videos of our lesson with different levels of proficiencies or tactics and share it using these CMC tools. We all know that even in a class, the proficiency is not the same. So in this context, we can make videos of our lessons using different level of proficiencies. This is because students do not have the same proficiency level, even if it's the same. They are in the same classroom. students do not have the same proficiency level even though they are in the same classroom. So by doing so, we can ensure that they learn according to their capability of understanding it and their ability to absorb the information that we give them. They can use it as a revision and watch it as many times as they want so that they can understand the topic that we're talking about. Other than that, we can also provide videos using different teaching tactics. Some students may be visual learners, auditory learners, kinetic learners, and so on. So we can provide a video that consists of all these three learning aspects, or we separate it depending on how we want to do it. Moreover, the students can be encouraged to use these CMC tools to get to know students of other areas and also even overseas, so that they may exchange ideas or even chat with them. Therefore, we could provide education that suits students' way of learning and also their level of proficiency. However, the cons of these CMC tools, we cannot deny that not all households can afford to buy appliances to access these tools, as the cost of it is quite expensive. And other than that, internet access has not reached the whole nation as a whole. Some places do not have internet access. So this is one of the biggest problem that needs to be solved if we want CMC tools to be used as a whole in classrooms and in language in our education field. Therefore, the authorities plays an important role in solving the internet access problems as well as implementing plans to help poor areas to prosper, not only for the betterment of the country, but also for the advancement of education. I think that's all from me today, and thank you for listening. I'll pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
So we can conclude that the opportunities to communicate with advanced speaker of the target language could potentially have a positive effect to the students' productive and receptive of language skills. Interactions and collaborations with proficient user of the target language assisted the students to develop their language skills above their current level of competence. We can also conclude that the author has used three theories or hypotheses in his experiment, which is the interaction hypothesis, Kresh's input hypothesis, and Vygotsky sociocultural theory. So, as a whole, we hope that the tools mentioned can be used in our future lessons as an alternative to face-to-face interaction, as we can provide students their education that is suits to them and suits to their level of proficiency. So, I guess that is all from us. Thank you.